Welcome to Coffee with Blaine. This is Coffee, and are you Blaine? Maybe. Who is this? Who is this person that we have directly across from my screen?
How's it going?
What's up, man? Are you Blaine? Is this Coffee with you?
This is Coffee with Blaine and Jordan, I guess. Now,
Jordan. That's who this is. Welcome, Jordan. You have iced coffee. That's
I'm
fancy,
an iced
bro.
coffee kind of guy. Yeah.
All right. While people are slowly signing in, let's talk about this iced coffee that you have. Did you purchase this? Did you make this? What is the coffee formula you got going on?
This coffee specifically was purchased this morning down the street at a little outdoor cafe called Buccaneer Cafe, right across from Buccaneer Beach, a local spot where I live right up the street from.
Nice. What city is that?
Oceanside, California.
Oceanside, California. I like Oceanside. Oceanside's nice. I dig it.
Where I have lived since I moved here from Colorado in 2016, summer of 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
So you were in Colorado before. What do you think about the beach life versus the mountain living?
Oh, I love both. I'll always be a mountain boy at heart, being from Colorado, I think. But to come be by the beach is very surreal and breathtaking, and something that you really can't take for granted. The more you do live in places like that. I have a lot to be
Heck
grateful
yeah.
for. I do love it.
Nice. And what's your favorite part about living down in Oceanside right now?
Favorite part of living in Oceanside right now? Honestly, I gotta say, I love the community. There's a lot of good local sense of community. All the locals seem to know each other. There's a lot of cool local events that go on. And there's certain spots that I go out to eat at that you can really only find here in Oceanside, which I think is cool. So it's kind of got this community local culture of its own, and which I do think is really cool.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Welcome, Nikki. Welcome to Coffee with Jordan. And
Nikki, hugs.
how you doing? How's Nikki today? That's the question, right?
How is Nikki
Have
today?
have you stayed at the Nash pad?
We have stayed at the Nashes a couple times.
Nice,
Great
nice.
people.
I
Thank you,
know,
Nashes,
right?
for taking in Cincy Trails on the road. And
Heck yeah.
coffee with Nikki, she says. Yep, and coffee with.
Heck yeah. All right. So you guys have been busy in the Sensi Trails world. What
Very
have you
busy.
been
Yeah, there's been a lot that's been going on this year for sure in the
what's
Cincy
your
Trails camp.
summer been looking like over the on the road?
Summer was cool. It all kind of started. We were touring pretty incessantly for the first half of the year. We did a little fly-in tour for about 5 days, opening for Pacifier in Florida in late January, and then we home from that, had a little time off. We did Cali Vibes in February. That was really cool in Long Beach, or I think that's where it was, right? And then we did a tour with Pac Dub through February. That was a cold one, and the John Dang Show from Guam opened, and those were really cool guys to play with.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, that was actually a fun one because we were the middle of three bands, and I was able to make good friends with the drummer of John Dang Show, Paolo, and he had a kit he rented from a friend with cool Zildjian sweet case cymbals, and he just let me use the whole thing. And I just every night got up with my throne and my snare and sticks and went to town, and it was really cool. And then after
Nice.
we did that tour, we came home for about another week, and then we embarked on an independent tour that we called the Spring Fling Tour from That was a hefty one. That was from mid-March to all through April. But it was like 7 weeks on the road straight through a lot of different places that we'd never been. Where did we go? We went New Orleans, back to Florida. We had a lot of the East Coast. Went to New York City. We stayed with John's parents in Long Island. Thank you to John's parents for taking care of us over there. Baltimore. We did a lot of cool places. You know, when you're on tour, you go through a lot of places very, very fast, and then it quickly starts to just become a blur, I feel, the more you do it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, a lot of fun. Came home, we went through Springfield, Missouri, stayed with Josh Heinrichs. Thank you to Josh Heinrichs for taking us in, cooking us a good dinner. That was really cool. Came home from that, and then that was May at that point. And then we did May Days over in Joshua Tree with the Dub Shack people. And then we went off and we also did a home show at THC. And then what did we do there? I'm losing track of things. We've done so much so fast. We got ready for Cali Roots, and then did another tour called From Another Dimension tour into the middle of June, late June. We came home from that. And then since then, it's just been a lot of one-offs on the weekends. We did Reggae Rise Up Baltimore, late July. I think I ran into you there backstage. That was fun. And, you know, we've been going through a lot of unfortunate transitions and heavy times with our bass player, Kaya, having been in a car accident this summer. And he's been in Colorado in physical therapy recovering. And I did talk to him yesterday. He's been doing well, staying strong. And I found out, he posted on his Facebook, he got to meet Gene Simmons at the Denver airport, which I know he was really happy about because Kiss is his favorite band of all time. And yeah, it was, you know, I've been keeping in touch with him. I'm actually supposed to get on a call with him later this evening, hoping to catch up with him, see how he's doing. And yeah, Kai, if you're watching, love you. Hope you're doing well in Colorado. And what do we got coming up next? We got tomorrow, actually, is a very important gig. We're doing the Surfer Girl Expo at the Oceanside Amphitheater. So it's a cool little hometown gig for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got a very fun special guest filling in on bass for us. So be there at 11:45 tomorrow if you would like to see.
11:45 a.m.
a.m.
God damn, that's
early morning.
Too early, bro.
Early worm gets the bird. Is that early worm gets
early?
The bird? Early
no, I like
the
that.
Worm.
No, I like that better. The early worm gets the bird, man. That's
worms,
it.
The worms can eat the birds too, you know.
Oh yeah, it's equal opportunity around here. So no, I guess if it's a bunch of surfers, like the competition's normally earlier, right? During the waves are
when the waves, whenever the high tide is, and when the waves are the best, you know.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah,
and
so if anyone's in the North County area or in the San Diego area, and you know, feel free to come out tomorrow morning and hang out. We're gonna be hanging out and playing some cool music, and come say hi.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I'm gonna take a quick break. Jesse, good morning. Zach, good morning, Mr. Keeley.
We got tuning in.
Chrysala, you made it. And Kat, good morning. She's screaming your name with an exclamation point.
I'm gonna scroll through all the comments. It's kind of welcome everybody. Thank you all for tuning in this morning.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've had a really busy year. What is there anything that you can talk about coming up that you know is not completely under wraps?
One good thing to highlight, I feel, at this time would be we are have been working on and are doing our own festival in October called Groovy Palooza. That's going to be October 22nd in Encinitas. And in addition to that, Kyle has also been hard at work, I've seen, every day, working on both the festival attraction and Sinister Trails, which is a haunted maze attraction going along with it. And that's going to be another thing running from every weekend starting September 30th through October 31st. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe. So if you're feeling like you want to go get spooky, go check out the haunted house. Same location, September 30th, all through the month of October on the weekends. Sinister Trails is called. And yeah, Groovy Palooza is going to be this cool little Halloween themed festival that we're throwing. You know, it's going to be a couple of DJs and a couple of our band, Sensory Trails and Band of Gringos. And then Kaipora and Hunt Hucks are
Heck yeah.
the DJs that are going to be performing. So it's going to be
I
a cool little Halloween themed festival, wear your costume and food, drinks, and vendors, and come hang out and get spooky with us.
Hell yeah, Band of Gringos is good, man.
Cool
I
guys, cool
believe
guys.
I played with them once, and they have a cool sound. It's very like a rock sound.
Tickets for that are available on our website, groovypalooza.com. There also is a corresponding Facebook event that you can RSVP to. Type in Groovy Palooza and you will find everything you need to know about it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right. So anybody in the comments here, real quick, if you have questions for Jordan, shout them out. Don't be shy. Just type them in, and I'll make sure to get that info from him. And while we're doing that, as you've been listening to at least a couple of these, right? We like to dive in and ask weird questions about what it really kind of takes to be a touring musician. Not just a musician, but a touring musician. They're separate things almost. And we were talking about this a little bit, and I wanted to kind of find out like what how do you survive on the road. Sensi Trails is a great sounding band. I finally heard you guys, at least in partial, not even at 100%, and you guys are sounding great last weekend. But oh yeah, no worries, man. Just calling it like it is. But
it was cool to run into you last week, and I was like, oh hey, is that Blaine? I was like, oh, that is Blaine. I was like, I didn't know he was going to be here today.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah, for those that might have been watching in previous episodes earlier this week, Blaine was talking about a gig that he had last weekend in which Sensi Trails was also at, and I ran into him there, and we talked about me coming on the show, and I figured I'd watch a few shows this week, get a feel for it, and here we are after working through a couple of technical difficulties, which thank you for hanging in there with me, by the way. I didn't want to like hold anything up, or I didn't know if you had a set schedule for how you do these things. And
oh yeah, no, everybody here knows that there is no set schedule.
This is actually my first appearance on a podcast, so thank you for having me.
Really, your first appearance on a podcast at all? Like at all?
Ever, first time ever.
Oh, crazy. Well, I'm glad you're here. And this is definitely not your typical podcast. This is just
I love it.
People chatting about life.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's life. Everyone's got to live. Everyone has different lives and different things going on, and we're here to talk about all that stuff.
Exactly. So speaking of which,
yes,
what we got going on, you guys are a very talented band, but I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, and actually if I'm wrong, that'd be awesome, but you guys are probably not making much money as a band. No.
Right
yeah, so the goal for most now. Exactly. The goal for most touring bands is not necessarily to make a quick buck. The goal is to build a fan base. And normally that comes at the cost of money and time. And you're basically investing your money and your time into this thing, which is growing an audience rather than necessarily trying to make money. Would that be a correct assessment?
Very much so. Yes, you have a very good take on that, and I do very much think the same way about that kind of thing. Especially the longer I get into doing it, And I look at it very much as like when you're a musician and you decide that this is what you want to do and you're going to go after it all, whatever it takes. It's very much like, planting a garden, watering that garden. A garden starts out as what, a layer of soil, and you're putting the seeds in. But if you don't water that garden, you're not going to have really a garden to water at all, are you? So, little things like that. If you don't water a plant will eventually die, and you need to give it, the nutrients, and you need to give it what it needs to grow and in turn build that audience, I guess. Is And I think the first anyone that's really seriously doing it that I've talked to, these guys that are in the bigger leagues, they've all kind of what they've told me does correspond to what it is I'm thinking in my own mind with the longevity of things and the process of building a band and just sticking it through and seeing it through and giving it your all. Really, it takes time. Nothing happens overnight. I didn't move to California and join Sensi Trails the next day. That didn't come till a couple of years when Kyle moved to California even. So just goes to show that it takes time. Anything on whatever path you're going to pursue in life, whether it's music or becoming a lawyer or a doctor or whatever it is you want to do in life, it all is going to take time, And even I'm still learning that at 25.
Yeah, time is definitely needed. Mickey, good morning, by the way. Happy Friday. If you have questions for Jordan, drummer of Sensi Trails, please shoot them. Comment your comment in the comments, as they say. But yeah, exactly. I like the flower pot analogy. I like the investing time, the growth. Anthony, thank you for going into financial aspects of touring. Here's a question. How do you and the band sustain financially while on the road? Do shows pay the way, or are you getting creative with things? You already kind of mentioned this with the staying at people's houses and having them give you, home cooked meals. You have a good support network in your fan base, it seems like. But yeah, how do you guys manage? Do you go out of pocket? Do you every band's kind of different, so this would be and don't say anything you're not comfortable saying, like
No,
be like,
of course,
oh yeah,
of
we
course.
sell heroin to get to the next stop. But
yeah, we sell drugs.
I met a guy who did that, and then he went to prison for 10 years, and now he's starting over.
He admitted on the show that he sold drugs and went to prison.
Yeah. Dale and the Z-Dubs. It's part of his story. He's proud to talk about it. He was trying to finance the band's tour and was selling I think it was probably like ecstasy in a festival parking lot and got popped and went to prison, and now he's coming back. The music's good. He's a fun guy, but like
I've heard of Dale and the Z-Dubs. I've heard their tunes. They're cool.
Yeah. So that's
cool
kind
sound.
of his story is getting popped and coming back. But anyway, I want to hear your story.
That's
what do you guys do? How do you guys stay afloat?
So there's a lot of different ways we do that. I guess I'll elaborate on the first way we like to do it, which is, yes, having a support system among your fan base is key and very helpful. We do stay at a lot of close friends and families' houses along the way. I am the one who is tasked when we go on tours with finding those accommodations. And so I think when you're touring, you want to try to get to a point to where wherever your route's going, you're going to have places to stay with your friends or family along the way. And then, when you keep doing it and you just show that, you're cool dudes and you're friendly and you're just trying to work for the music, people take to that and they want, they're usually stoked to take you in. We have also had instances where we've met people that we don't really know just at the show, and we're in some town that we don't really know or have been to we've been to some town for the first time, and we don't know where anything is or anybody, and they're just like, hey, we got a house 2 blocks away. We got plenty of space. Come stay with us. You can shower. You can do. Sometimes things just happen like that. As far as the the financial pull of it, yeah, every show is different. Some shows are guarantees, and then some shows are ticketed deals. You only get what you sell, and then we get by on our merch, and then I try to set it up where I already have a budget that I'm gonna live on day to day, or like per diems kind of thing. If you get like a $20 per diem for the day from the venue or something, well, what I try to do is save that money if you can for the next day, and just like when you're at venue to venue, I try to live on what the industry can give me. I find where the hospitality is, I find the meal tickets, the drink tickets, and when those expire, that's when I start spending the money, only if I absolutely need to get something to eat or drink at that time. And then
Nice.
like the gas station costs can really, catch you. It can be easy to get to a gas station and, oh, cool, I get to get out of the van and stretch. Oh, I'm going to go inside and spend money and get a candy bar. But, if you're not hungry, if you aren't thirsty, if you don't need anything, don't buy anything. It's what I've learned. The money you don't spend on the road is just as important as the money you, I guess, take home. Because if you look at it as a survival game, John, my guitar player, and I have talked about this. If you look at it as more of a survival game rather than, oh, it's a vacation and I'm going to party, you'll see over time, living frugally that way on the road, that you will have a little bit more money in your pocket. And you have to kind of know your cost of living a month and what you're going to make on the road in a month versus not going to make. And then you have to kind of find your in-between hustle to get by however you do. For me, the band has obviously had a really crazy schedule that's kind of prevented me from being able to get any sort of real 9-to-5 job. And, I'm the kind of guy where I don't want to go back and forth with people and be like, hey, I'm available. And, oh, sorry, I said I was available, but no, I'm not. Because that's happened to me before. And I learned, okay, I can't do that. But what I'm getting at is, because I don't have the kind of open schedule to get a 9-to-5, the one thing I've really been trying to do really hard and I've been getting good at is doing food delivery, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. I've been hustling the Grubhub app the most lately because they give you all these apps. They give you Prop 22 earnings, which reimburses you up to 30 cents a mile that you drive based on each delivery you do. And it also equates to an hourly minimum wage in your city. And so however many hours you work, you're guaranteed to make X amount of dollars. And when you hit it at the busy times, that can range anywhere from 22 to, I've taken home like $80 to drive around for 3 hours on Grubhub a couple times before.
Nice,
And
man, nice.
So it's just, and then you kind of learn how to, once you figure out these algorithms on those apps, if you do that, the more you do it, the more money you'll make, really, in the long run. It's not going to make you rich, but for a guy like myself who's, okay, I got a gig this day, I got a rehearsal this night, and then, okay, I'm going to be gone for this weekend. Well, yeah, on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when I don't have anything immediately to do, given any band activities, yeah, I'll be in my car driving around making whatever money I can make. And I also, I've been trying to get lucrative on the creative side with, session work as a drummer and drum lessons. I got on with via Backstage Music Lessons, Kevin Officer's company. Thank you guys to them for putting me on the team. And, so yeah, you have to kind of learn how to maximize and bring in the most money you can make on your main hustle. I feel that way that's what eliminates you having to go back and get any other kind of job. But like you were saying earlier, in the building phases, it takes time, and you have to do what you got to do to make ends meet when you got to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna take 1 second and read through these comments. Tim Azzy, good morning. What's going on? J Dog, what's going on? I'll go right back to you.
The comments.
Oh, you're all good, man.
Warm-ups and rudiments.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that. Brian, what's going on? Jesse, hi. Lauren, how you doing, bro? All right. So J Dog is asking what your favorite warm-ups and rudiments are.
That is a good question. Thank you, J Dog, for asking me that. I have a few favorite rudiments. I'm a big fan of paradiddle diddles around the kit and on the hi-hats. Um, I have on my wall over here the Vic Firth 40 rudiments. Favorite warm-ups. I learned one from Ed Beach. He played with Real Big Fish. He's who I've been studying with most recently. There's like a paradiddle switch, which is like a accents on the first paradiddle. There, and then you can flam that over to. You start with a paradiddle, then you flam it. I know you probably can't. I'm trying to tap it on my table here. You probably can't hear it, but there's
Oh, you can hear it. You can hear it.
Cool. It's called the paradiddle switch. Something I'm a big fan of, and then he showed me a cool drumline exercise called the 8-7-8-9, and that's kind of it's cool because it gets you do a pattern of 8 on each hand, and there's certain accents that you can move it around on, and then you'll go to the other hand and do another pattern of 8, and then you're playing with a click the whole time, and then you'll go into a pattern of 7, and it kind of gets you out of that box of click, click. Oh, I'm going to bury the click, and kind of getting to play with the click as an auxiliary percussive instrument, which is cool. And I'm a fan, as far as warm-ups go, I'm a fan of chop builders and anything that just kind of helps get me to the next level of playing that I'm trying to get to, which I guess would be that more advanced tier of really understanding applications on the drum set and just, really being able to get to the kit and know what it is I'm going to do and apply it very smooth and cleanly. Really what I'm after. Drumeo is a good reference for all that. All those guys have cool practice pad warm-ups. Anything I can be shown from any drummer or find on the internet, I really enjoy practicing along to. That's for sure.
Hell
I hope
yeah.
that helps
Nice.
answer that question. I kind of hope that definitely helps answer that question as far as the warm rudiments. I love it all.
Oh yeah. Well, a broad question deserves a broad answer, right? Sean, good morning. Lindsay, good morning. How you guys doing? Thanks for joining. We
Hey,
are chatting with Jordan and trying to get into the nitty gritty of what it takes to be a Sensi trail.
Sensi trailer.
A Sensi trailer. I like it. I like it. Justin, good morning. Good morning. He says, appreciate you, sir. Your practice shows. So yeah, people
Thank you, Justin.
people
Appreciate
are
that.
vibing with all the effort you put in. Weege, what's going on? Jacob, what's up? LOL. Yeah, let's dive in a little bit more on this this aspect of touring. Because I really feel like you have a really, when you were talking, you have a really good realistic outlook. A lot of bands that I have seen over the years, including bands I have been in, will burn themselves out after like a tour or 2 tours and then end up quitting because they're not making any money and blowing it all on the vacation aspect of tour. You said you bring in a budget, right? And is that budget based off of the bills that you have? Like, okay, so I have to have this much in my account for rent. I have to have this much so I can spend this much a week in food. And is that money mainly coming out of your own pocket versus out of the band fund? As far as that goes, or do you guys well, let me have you answer that question first, and then I have a follow-up question, I guess.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So the question to answer immediately first is having the budget, and what was the question exactly?
Is that coming out of your own pocket? Are you budgeting out of the money that you make from Grubhub and Uber Eats and stuff to survive if you're going to go on a long stretch on the road?
So, yes, I try to, and what I've noticed helps is certain people on the weekdays. If I do it, I get a lot of the like corporate 9 to 5 people ordering lunch, and I'll go down to the business part lunch off. They give me cash tips sometimes. So what I notice helps is to save those cash tips, and that just becomes my survival money on the road. Like, okay, this is what I can use to get a bottle of water for the day, or well, a jug of water. I usually when you're on the road, I like to get those big gallon jugs of water. That way, you just have your the day and you're good to go, and then you get to the venue and usually refill it, or having a water bottle that you can refill. I had a really cool Cali Roots Nalgene. I lost it. Bummer. But anyway, yeah, the budgeting, it all comes from the money I'm able to make on the side. And then, the money that I do get paid after the shows that we get on the road, I kind of just stash that away for, okay, this is going to go to that. And then a lot of my bills are on auto pay on my bank account anyway. So as long as I have money hitting my bank account, bills stay paid is kind of how I do it.
That makes sense. I like it.
Basically, every day how I'm doing it is every day I'm, like I said earlier on the show this week, I'm always trying to make money in a day. Like every day is a work day. There's really, even when you get big, I feel like anybody will really tell you that's done it for a long time. When you're in a band, when you're a freelancer, when you're working for yourself, essentially, there really are no days off. If you really think about it, I do give myself those days to, relax and rest when I can feel it in my mind and my body that I need it. And that gets, like that, but that's usually not until after I get all my monthly dues done and out of the way. I like to handle that first. And I'm all about just trying to stay ahead of the game financially with the bills. And I feel like if you can adopt that mentality, you can have a little bit more room to grow in between with your money. If that helps anybody understand.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
The way I
Going
look
back,
at it is, you had a good point. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, take it, man, take it.
At the gig. You had a good point. The last weekend when we ran into each other, you said, the term blue collar musician, and that's pretty much what this shit is. It's a grind every day. We get to the show. There are no techs or anything. We set up all of our stuff. I set up my drums no matter how hot or cold it is, and I tear it all down. And I love that. I love the grind of, okay, I'm setting it up and I got to figure out this and that, and then I tear it all down. And I'm still even very much figuring out what's comfortable on the drums for my playing style and how to do things better every gig, And I like trying different things as far as setting up my kit. And yeah, so like it's always a grind. There's always, sometimes you have to, there have been times where my drum set usually sits in the tour van. And maybe there have been times where if I get called on for a gig in between a Century Trail show and I'm available, I can take it. But then I realized, oh, well, my drum set's in the van. So maybe the day before the gig or the day of the gig, I'll just get up really early. And there have been days where I've gone to the van down on Ocean Beach, drove down to Kyle's apartment and been like, hey, I got to get my drums out. Is that cool? And I get my drums out and then you go do the gig. And then, sometimes it's as big as a 12, 13 hour, if not longer day. Sometimes you might find, I followed this drummer on Instagram. He posted this cool reel. It was like a day in the life. And he was at a festival. He did drums for one band, and then he did keyboard for another band. And so that was 2 sets he played at a festival. And, I'm sure he got something for that, but that just goes to show that that's the kind of work level of drive and grind it is in the music business when you're gigging full time. And it's just, a perfect example here is I got my name thrown in the hat from my drum teacher, Ed. This guy reached out to me for a church drummer for this Sunday. It was super last minute. And he said, hey, I got your number from Ed, and I just want to know if I'm in desperate need of a drummer this Sunday for a church service. And I just quickly hit him with, hey, thanks for reaching out. What are the ins and outs? Like, are the drums at the church? How many songs? What's the pay? And he tells me it's 4 songs, and you can pay $125, but it's in Rancho Bernardo, which is about like 45 minutes to an hour in traffic, maybe from my house. And call time would have been at 7:30, and the service was at 10 and over by 11:15. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, this sounds like a pretty good gig. And then I asked him furthermore about, because I've also done some research on the worship drummers and playing in church, you're in a, behind a glass casing usually, and you're playing with backing tracks and a click, which I'm okay with. I can do. We used to do that in Cincy Trails, and we haven't in a long time. But I also, it's one of those things where I didn't want to commit to it, knowing that I had a gig with Cincy Trails the day before, and then stress myself out trying to learn all these songs in a style in which I haven't really played before. So I didn't want to be that guy showing up being like, oh, like we're on beat 2. You can't do that at those kind of gigs. And I didn't want to make a fool of myself and possibly, not get a call back. So rather than say, yeah, I'll take the gig because I know I could use the money, I decided to hold off and say, hey, this forthcoming Sunday won't work out, but I'm glad you reached out to me, and I'm happy to be a name in the hat for future reference. And he was like, yeah, I'll totally keep you in mind for future reference. And then I asked more about, hey, can you send me what the songs are? And then I asked, okay, do you guys do backing tracks? And he says he controls them all from an iPad, which is cool. So it gave me a foot in the door to be able to get myself prepared for if he might call me again in the future.
Heck yeah. Nice, man. I like that. I
think an important thing is, I'm sorry to keep going on. We're saying all these things and these ideas keep coming to mind, but I think an important thing to keep in mind is, it's good to know in a sense when to say no, not just to a gig, but to anything really.
Heck yeah. I like that. That's solid, man. We're gonna take a pause real quick. Yeah. Weege, what's up? Brittany, what's up? Jake, what's up? Steve, what's up? Daryl, what's up? Lauren, smart shit. Every day's a hustle. Jesse, giant paragraph that I'm not going to read right now. Lindsay, is your drum teacher Ed Larson?
Ed Beach.
Ed Beach. All right. Brett, how is it going, Jordy? Allison, good morning, fuckers. You always brightening the day with that one.
You guys are funny.
Keep going, Jordan. Blaine talks too damn much anyway. I agree with that, Lindsay. I agree. And I'm just kidding about the long. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying it's coffee with Jordan now. Sorry.
Oh yeah, man. The less I have to do, the better. So one thing I've learned is to farm out as much work as possible. And if I get you talking, then I can just kick back and drink coffee. Jesse, passive income, most ideal plan. Having 7 forms of income is a tip on how to be a millionaire. So the more passive income you have, the less you have to grind. Downloads, merch orders, instructional videos are all things that can set and make money on their own or with little advertising. Advertising can be done through calendar. So one day of work will set you up for socials for a month to promote you. Different forms of passive income. Yes and no is my response to that. What is your response to that, Jordan?
That was a very fast read paragraph that I'm unable to read back. I just saw Lauren Thomas's Blaine can't get a word in. Yeah, I tell a lot. I know. Passive income. She was basically, if you can paraphrase that, I heard it was talking about setting up social. Can't even recall what was that. You said that all very fast. What was the question?
All good. So to paraphrase, she is saying that the more streams of income you have, the better you are, and as far as being able to make more money. And passive forms of incomes are the ideal way to do that, though what she's describing is less passive income and more residual income, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like say I can do the work once by making a video lesson and multiple people can purchase that lesson. So I'm making residual income on that thing. It's not passive because I'm actually doing something. Yeah. Do you have forms of residual income? Are you making lesson videos? Are you monetizing any of your social channels? Are you doing things that will bring you are you getting writing credit on the Cincy Trails tunes, et cetera, et cetera? Are there royalties or residual incomes that you're exploring?
The best way I can
And
answer all that in an honest fashion is I do believe in residual income. And yes, it is all very much a work in progress for me. Everything that you mentioned, as far as monetizing my social medias, making video lessons and content, and trying to do what I can to keep the Instagram stuff going too. And I'm kind of with all that, I'm learning there's so many different ways you can do all that with the Instagram stuff. And the algorithm has really weird and different ways of working, and it's I'm figuring all that out as I go. And I'm also kind of in this stage of inspired to grow, given that we've had this event happen where we have a member in the hospital, and we kind of look at it as a perfect time to really hone our skills and sharpen the sword a little bit on our instruments. And that's really what I'm at. Is I've been enjoying going on to the Drumeo YouTube videos, and every day I try to learn a new topic about something on the drums. And that's what I love. I'm a drum nerd. I love to get as far down the rabbit hole you can go with this stuff. And as far as the monetization of all that in the passive and residual income, I'm kind of a believer of it's good to have all that stuff, and you want to have income streams that you can keep incoming, but you don't want to have too many projects that spread you thin in a way, if that makes sense.
no,
So I would
I
agree
can
with
feel
you.
you on that one.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It is important.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Going back to Jesse real quick. You are absolutely right though in a lot of these aspects. The only reason that I'm saying yes and no is basically because these things exactly, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, and there's a lot of pitfalls and traps that people can get into by not by basically blanket statementing things. So there's a lot of multi-level marketing schemes. There's a lot of investment opportunities that aren't investment opportunities. There's a lot of unrealistic promises that end up costing you more than they say, or there's a lot more work that goes into some of this stuff than it sounds like up front.
Very much so.
All in all, I the ideas presented there are right on. You want to do all of those things. You want to have multiple streams. I mean, you have the gigs, you have the driving, you probably have a couple other things going on. But let's dive more into that. Let's really dive into that real quickly, though. I got to go back to the comments. That's the whole live stream thing, right?
What up, Kevin Bernard? How you doing, man?
Brett, what's up, bro? Brittany, I have a hard time saying no. I've started doing it more, though. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's easy to get sucked into to stuff. Lindsay, he took the fuck over, Blaine. Find a different thing to do. I love it. I love getting heckled. All love Jordan. Good stuff. Coffee with Jordan. I'm here for it. Hell yeah. DK, good morning. We just back. Spread too thin. I have no idea what that means. Laughing emoji. Kevin Bernard, what's up, Jordan? OBX Inc. checking in. And
Kevin Bernard, Outer Banks, North Carolina, one of my favorite places to play.
Hell yeah. And Justin Palmer, very educational, guys. Heck yeah. And Amber says, Jordy, hands up, hearts. So yeah, let's dive more into this. So because I'm super fascinated about this. So when it comes to shows, and like I said, I'm gonna repeat this just because I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. You don't have to answer any of these questions, and you don't have to give any specific numbers or anything like that.
No problem.
But for Hyrie, basically the first 2 or 3 years I was in the band, we were losing money. The band lost money. Uh, the expenses were more than what the shows paid, though the shows brought in a huge audience, and that paid off, a few years down the road since we hung in there. But in the Sensi Trails case, how does the money get distributed? Does it all go back into a fund? Is there a percentage that you get paid out, or does it all get paid out and there is no band fund? And then when you have something you have to pay for, you guys just pony up and pay for
it? So I'll say that we've learned a lot in the first 4 years as coming together in a band on how to do that kind of side of it. It used to be that way where we would come out of pocket. We've learned now that you have to have money set aside in a band fund for when things do come about, like blowing a tire in the middle of Texas in the van at 4 a.m, or, just unforeseen things that happen. Life happens to everyone, And so, yeah, there's the musicians, we divvy it all up. There's a percentage that goes to the one that books the stuff for us, and then there's a band fund aside. Is kind of how we're doing it now. If that
so
helps
normally
make the financial sense of things.
So normally, like, a booking agent runs around 10% or so. Is that pretty accurate?
Pretty accurate. It can vary between, depending on who your booking agent is and what their credibility is with booking artists. But yeah, that's generally standard music industry practice, I'd say.
Heck yeah. Just clarifying so that somebody doesn't be like, oh yeah, I got a booking agent, he charges 80%. I don't want anyone getting screwed here. And then what is your band fund percentage out of gigs and merch?
I don't know if I have a real number based on percentage. There's a whole lot of ledger emails that we get sent out so that everybody can kind of read on and keep track of where the money's going. But I do know that, for in most recent days, it's been talked about, and there is definitely a little bit of money from each show that gets set aside into a band fund for things that a band needs to do, such as recording, van tour bus repairs, just anything that can be set aside that can avoid anybody having to come out of pocket for, really.
Yeah, and
You
would say
you want the money that the band makes to eventually start paying for what the band expenses on, and then some for the members once the shows get bigger. It's kind of how I feel it works.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
so you would
I
say
don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So you would say right now you guys are putting away like a small percent, like 5 or 10% of a show, and
Something around that, yeah.
And then you guys divide the rest of the money between yourselves.
Correct.
Okay, and then what about merch?
Merch is all right now. The merch that we do sell, it all pretty much gets reinvested back into the next merch batch. That's kind of how that works because we're still in those building phases where, kind of like you said in the beginning years of Hyrie, yeah, the expenses are more than what the band makes. That's very much, I feel like, where we still are and trying to grow out of. And a good thing to keep in mind to any young musician, really, or anybody that's just still in these building phases, no matter how old or young you are, just it all takes time. Like I said, the building phases are the building phases for a reason. You have to build and work, and you have to see it through. And like you mentioned earlier, you said you had heard instances of stories where guys would go on tour and then they get burned out and they quit because they haven't made any money. And yeah, that I've heard that does happen. Burnout is very much a real thing. To go on tour for a month or two or however long you do it, it's something that is very physically and mentally taxing. You have to know how to take care of yourself so that you can perform at your A game and also be at your best for the people that are coming to the shows and seeing you. And
yeah.
I think one thing to keep in mind, if you really want to go the course of being a musician and dive into it all, is you have to keep your life simple. You have to keep your cost of living as low as you can in the beginning,
100%. I totally agree. I'm loving these outlooks, and I'm loving the deep dive. So thank you for
Thank
doing this
you.
deep dive with me, because that's the aspect that no one ever talks about. They see a band on stage, they assume that everything's great and they're making money hand over fist,
We
and like,
we talked about that at the last gig too. Yeah, the social media is very much smoke and mirrors these days. You know, those pictures you see on Instagram, on Facebook, the videos, it's the performance. That's our little bit of, reward. Not little bit. That's what we live for. That's what we love. But that's our okay, the work's all done and we're here and we get to finally play and we've sound checked and we've traveled however many hours to get to this gig and all we get to finally play our music in front of all these beautiful faces. That's what you see in those pictures. What you don't see is, however many years behind the scenes it took to maybe get to that point. Or, you don't see that a band broke down the night before and had to wait 6 hours for AAA, and they just barely made it onto that stage 30 minutes before they were supposed to play, and but they well, and but like it's just kind of I think it's very fascinating how you know only the musicians I feel that really do it see it from that kind of perspective, if that makes sense,
yeah, 100%.
or the
Um,
families of musicians,
yeah, those
anybody
indirect
directly
contact.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
that's
it's all for the experience too. When you deep down that that you love this and this is what you want to do.
100%, 100%. Well, let's talk about goals then.
Yeah.
Where is your and where is Sensi Trails goals? Maybe short term and medium term. Like, what are you guys working on right now to accomplish a goal, or what immediate goals do you guys have?
The immediate goals that we have, I'd say right now, are to definitely put out some new music. We've been getting asked a lot about when we are going to do that, and the answer is it is a work in progress. Obviously, there have been a few setbacks due to schedules, and we had a bit of a unfortunate accident happen this summer with our bass player, as mentioned, and that's definitely affected a lot. But we are doing the best we can to, stick together and work through it under, as much stress as it is. And I think we've all kind of gotten to this point where it's very much a sink or swim. We're gonna, we have to really buckle down and just keep going. And that's our immediate goals, is to just, we're not going to stop. Sensi Trails will keep going no matter what. It's just, we're in this period of, we had to kind of take a step back and look at everything a little bit and then figure out the best course of action from there, as I feel like where we're at. So yes, the immediate goals are record new music and keep building the name. And, if you've come to any of our shows recently, you'll notice that we're doing a lot of different things on stage now, and it's a little bit more of a different band than it was when we first started, as far as the sound. And we're exploring all of that kind of stuff right now. And yeah, we're just gonna really keep it moving the best we can at this time.
Heck yeah, heck yeah! I got a question up on the screen from Justin. Favorite collab right now and top 3 dream collaborations.
Is that as far as like limited to a collab in the reggae world or any kind of collab?
I would assume it would be any kind of collab.
My favorite collaboration of all time has definitely got to be Maynard James Keenan with Chino Moreno on Deftones' Passenger from White Pony.
Heck yeah! That's a freaking good one. I
I think
think he
that's
meant
a yeah.
I think he meant with Sensi Trails though.
Oh, like right now, I think yeah, that was just That's my favorite
All good.
collab in music in
But I
general.
love that. I love that. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
To be honest, I'll be humble and honest about this. My favorite collab with the band was the Just Livin' so far that we've done was the Just Livin' with K-Bong and the Purpose track with Nick Safakis. Two great dudes in the reggae world that have a lot of credibility to their names. And it really helped put us out there on a whole nother level as far as the commercial side of things. As far as my top 3 dream collaborations, I do think it would be cool to collaborate. I guess this is even if it's just myself as a drummer. I would do think I'm a big fan of the band Polyphia and their guitar player Tim Henson. I would love to
So
collaborate with that guy and his playing and something as far as Sensi Trails top 3 dream collaborations. I don't know if I've thought as far as my top 3 dream collaborations, but I do think it would be cool to collaborate with Josh Heinrichs. We have done that a little bit before in the past.
Hell yeah.
We jammed in his house and did a little rendition of our song My Flame, and he did a little verse. You know what? That's actually one of my favorite ones, I'll say as well.
Hell yeah.
K-Bong, Nick Safakis, and getting to link up with Josh Heinrichs and play some music with him was really fun. I would love to see him collaborate more with us in the future. I can say that much. And really anybody that is a fan of our music that really wants to be a part of it, I invite you to reach out and let's collaborate,
Hell yeah. I like it. I like it. And speaking of collabs in and out of the reggae world, from my very limited experience with the Sensi Trails music, which is all good, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Man. It doesn't sound reggae at all to me. But you guys are pretty firmly in the reggae scene, right?
So yes and no. We got in with reggae, and we love playing the reggae festivals. We do enjoy not really. If you've come to the shows, people tell us that we're kind of a blend of all things. Like I think fusion might be the good word to use. We like to fuse this style into that style, and we don't really think of ourselves as a reggae based band. I think Kyle used the term reggae inspired at one point.
Nice.
We like all that stuff. We love all these bands that we do play with. I do think on top of that, we enjoy kind of breaking out of the box and blurring those lines between genres as well.
Heck yeah. How would you like, are you guys pursuing other scenes outside of the reggae scene as far as festivals and things like that go, or are you guys, as far as like linking, are you guys pretty in the reggae scene? Does this make sense? It's hard to ask this question, but Stick Figure, for instance, when he went out, most of the festivals that he would play would be non-reggae festivals, Bonnaroo and things for the like. Are you guys actively pursuing that, I guess? Or are you guys just more like pursuing stuff within the reggae community as far as opportunities go?
Oh, no, yeah. As far as opportunities go, I think that we're definitely trying to explore all of it, and any festival that will have us, we'll definitely play. And I think, as a band, when you're trying to get into the mainstream commercial side of things, you don't really want to limit yourself to, this or that as far as opportunities go. I think the best way to go about it is you want to just get out there and play in front of whoever you can, wherever you can.
Hell yeah. I love that,
that
man.
could be a small independent festival over here in, we've done festivals in very obscure places that you wouldn't have thought to have played a festival in, but you go to those places and you find that you have people in a little sector of Midwest United States that would have never known who you were if you just hadn't showed up there. And it
Yeah,
may
I love
only be
that.
however many people it is. It's just I enjoy just getting the name out to people. And we've also played in some weird towns where people just look at us and they're like, "Where are you guys from?" And we're like, "Oh, we're from San Diego, we're from California." And then they see us play and they're like, "That was like we don't get that over here. That was really cool. You guys should definitely come back." And where we're at right now, as far as like with our music, like we're just in that sweet spot of, we have a little nice independent album out that we put out in 2020, the Celebration album. That was right before the pandemic and all that happened. We went on tour with K-Bong when we released that in February of 2020. I think we actually ran into Hyrie at a show there somewhere like in Salt Lake City. It was a fun one. And now we're in that sweet spot of like we've kind of evolved our sound a little bit, and we just need to get our live sound that you see at the shows captured in a studio setting. Obviously you'll see that you'll come to our shows, but it won't necessarily so much reflect what you will go on YouTube and Spotify and hear. It was a different things were a lot different. And when we were making the first record, we were very reggae influenced, and we were real into the at the time we were on the One Love Festival, not playing it, but Kyle and I were at it trying to talk about Just Living at the time and giving people stickers. And that's kind of how it starts. You go to festivals and you got to get the name out there and kind of just give stickers out and pass these out, or just show that you're a band. And one really cool thing that got us, I feel I give credit to, that got us into the reggae world very much was, people still talk about it to this day. If you saw our performance, we popped up at Cali Roots 2019 on the grass right outside of the bowl stage. I think we did that, one day after Iatera just got done playing during the intermission. So after they were done playing, we started playing songs, and K-Bong found us and came up and did Just Living with us, and we drew a nice little crowd. And we in a way we weren't really supposed to be there when we did that, but the production staff caught wind of it that we did do it, and that it was a cool pop-up set, and that it got a lot of attention and traction. And that year that led to us getting the offer to be booked for Cali Roots 2020, which didn't happen. And then it got rescheduled for 2021, which also didn't happen. And then so it was 2022, and that was our this was 3 years of work that it took for us to get to this point, and now we're here. And we had a super fun set at 10:30 on a Saturday to about 1,000 people. And to those of you that were there, if you are watching, thank you for coming out at 10:30 on a Saturday, which is a time when people are mostly sleeping, day 3 at a festival. So yeah, it was really fun. And it's just things like that are kind of how you see it build over time, but you have to, I kind of started off the beaten path with that answer, but yes,
no, I like
with
it.
opportunities, yeah, diving deep, with opportunities, you want to seize anything that you can get if it makes sense to do so.
Yeah. So do you think that's one of the reasons that you resonate so much with the reggae community, is because you kind of took advantage of those opportunities as a band, and people enjoyed that that vibe, and then kind of stuck with you? Or is there another, is the older stuff more reggae and that's why people more appeal to it? I think you're losing signal. Uh-oh. We'll wait to see if he pops back up. In the meantime, oh, there he is. There you are. There you are.
Am I on? Yeah, now.
You're good. You're back up. Did you hear my question at all?
That kind of fizzled it out.
Oh, it's all good. I was just asking.
Also, if I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Oh, no. I was just gonna ask if you think that's why you have this firm following in the reggae community, is because you took advantage of those opportunities, or is it because the music originally started out in more of a reggae thing, or a little bit of both?
Honestly, I'll say a little bit of both. These things all go hand in hand. You have to have both good music with both a good presence to promote that music.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Lindsay McRae says there's no path. Y'all are in a field. It's a field. It's a field of endless possibilities. We don't nail ourselves down to one thing. We just, when you're a musician, obviously you're on stage and that's your time to express yourself, right? And we want to play the music that makes us feel good and lets us express ourselves. And that's what it is, That's what we do.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love it. And let me think if there's anything else. Let's go back to Lindsay's comment. She reiterated this. She wasn't here. I don't think a lot of people weren't here when we initially talked about this, but tomorrow at the Supergirl Surf Pro, you guys are rocking it at 11:30, correct?
11:45. You can be there at 11:30 to try to get a good spot. It is the Supergirl Expo. I went there last year. It is a pretty big local deal. So if you do want to come, get there early. I imagine it's a first come, first serve. Expendables and Smash Mouth will be headlining it. There is a wristband that you have to sign up for, I guess, online and get a hold of if you do want to go see those acts. But as far as Sensi Trails, you show up and you watch us play in the morning.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sounds like an amazing all-day event. And I hope you guys crush it. I'm sure that you will. You said you had a special guest bass player as well.
Yes. I will not say names now, but come to the set and find out who it is for your personal viewing and audible pleasure.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We've been rocking it for like an hour and 10 minutes now. Is there anything that you would like to? Oh, Amber's kind of doing it for me. She's beating me to the punch. jstarkdrums.com for merch. Tell me about how people can support you and help you with those 7 streams of income as we were talking about earlier.
So I guess what I'll come clean and say is do not go to the J Stark Drums website to get my merch, because that is now, I deactivated that because it kept gutting me $30 a month and I wasn't selling enough to make that worthwhile. So I did close that, but I do still have some inventory on hand. The J Stark Drums thing, it all kind of started as a way for me to I started out with making my bracelets, and then I did t-shirts and tank tops, and it all kind of started out as just a way for me to have a little bit of income to rely on when I quit my day job last year in March of 2021. I was working at a warehouse Monday through Friday, and that was a cool job, but it got to the point where touring with the band was picking up, and I was like, okay, it's time to go do this. So that's kind of how that whole thing stemmed from. And if you've bought anything from me as far as anything J Stark Drums, thank you. Just don't go to the website. Message me personally. I have like a couple tank tops on hand, like a couple XL t-shirts and koozies. Just message me personally if you want to check it out. I'll meet you at a gig. That's the best way to get it from me, or on the road somewhere. Because my website's down, I don't really do much mail orders with it anymore. But I'm happy to secure your koozie or whatever it is you want, a bracelet or whatever I have left in stock. Just message me and we'll make it happen.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Amber, for putting that out there.
Sliding in the DMs. Please go slide into Jordan's DMs. How else can people support you?
I'm available for drum lessons. If you want to learn how to play drums, definitely hit up Backstage Music Lessons, or myself even, and we'll get it going. I'm available for, while I'm home for this month, next month, I'm available in between Sensi Trails stuff. We're doing Reggae Rise Up Vegas October 8th for that weekend, and then our own little festival October 22nd. So those are the only 2 gigs I have with Sensi Trails, and I'll be available pretty much in the meantime doing my own thing day to day. I'll be available for like session work, studio work. If someone needs a fill-in player on the drums, feel free to let me know. We can work all that out. And of course, just keep coming to the shows if you want to support me. That's the best way anybody can. Just keep coming to see Sensi Trails.
Hell yeah, I love that. I love that, and I will be rocking out with you guys on the 8th. It's gonna be
You're gonna be there. Reggae Rise Up, yeah, Vegas.
oh
That'll be
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's gonna
We
be
will be there, and it'll be a good time. Haven't done that one. Haven't The only ones I haven't done are I haven't done Utah or Vegas, so I'm looking forward to Vegas for sure.
oh yeah, Vegas. Man, Vegas is pretty amazing. At least last time we were there, it was just phenomenal. The stages were great. The people were amazing. The vibe was definitely right, and they took really good care of us. So and the
I'm
weather
looking
was
forward to it.
pretty perfect. So hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so
I'm
much
looking forward
for
to it.
popping on and chatting and pulling
Yeah,
back the proverbial curtain, as they say.
thank you so much for having
Um,
me. It was fun to talk about all this stuff. It was, of course, I get a little jacked up when I have even just one cup of coffee, so I kind of get on the montage with my words. But thank you all for
oh,
bearing with me and listening
it's
to all
awesome,
my
man.
jibber jabber.
I think people really enjoyed it. We got a lot of great great feedback, and people are they tune in. They know they're gonna get me, but they've already heard me go on and on and on and on. So it's nice to have some
It
fresh
was
perspective on
it
the
was really cool
show.
to be a guest on the show and delve into all this stuff. I had a really good time. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do it again soon. Make sure to follow Sensi Trails and Jordan on all the socials. And
J Stark Drums.
yeah, yeah. Thanks again. And I don't know how to end this, but cheers, guys.
Cheers to a now finished iced coffee, and we will see you on the next coffee with Blaine.